Hi everyone, I'm Atika Zainal and you're watching tvsarawak.com. Let's take a look at our headlines. Wanita PBB launches official portal. Sarawak's first RTC. Pingat Jasa Pahlawan Negara Award for 221 police personnel. Parti Pesaka Bumiputera Bersatu Women's Wing has launched its own official portal as part of election preparations. Supreme Council Secretary and Multimedia and Communications Bureau Advisor Nancy Shukri said Wanita PBB needed the online platform to encourage more people, particularly young individuals, to learn about the party and subsequently join as members. She said that the portal is the result of feedback from a lot of people who wanted to know how to join PBB and how to contact PBB. Nancy added that the website would also act as a platform to keep the community informed about Wanita PBB's services. She explained that membership is open for men and women, and the website also targeted potential younger members. The country's fifth Rural Transformation Centre, located in Bekenu Town, will be operational by January 2015. Sibuti Member of Parliament Ahmad Lai Bujang said at the moment the construction of RTC was 90% completed. He revealed that the National Registration Department and Agrobank are among the government agencies that have confirmed operating at the Bekenu RTC. The RTC in Bekenu under the Sibuti Parliamentary Constituency will be Sarawak's first and is expected to serve more than 40,000 residents in Bekenu Town, which is well known for its agricultural and fisheries products. The 8 million ringgit Bekenu RTC will be the country's fifth after those in Johor, Pahang, Perak and Kelantan. Ahmad Lai said the RTC's soft opening is expected by January next year, with Prime Minister Datuk Seri Najib Tun Razak being invited to officiate at the event. 221 police officers and men received the Pingat Jasa Pahlawan Negara Award from Chief Minister Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Anand Satim at a ceremony held at the Leading Hotel yesterday. Leading the list of recipients was State Security Unit Director Datuk Dr. Yusof Nuk, followed by Special Administrative Officer in the Chief Minister's Department Datuk Khair Busra, Datuk Sulaiman Abdul Razak and Datuk Seri Datuk Wan Alwi Wan Hashim. The ceremony was the third held to honour police officers and Royal Malaysian Police members for their heroic acts, sacrifices and services to the country during the emergency era of the Federation of Malaya for the period of July 12, 1948 to July 31, 1960. Some served during the Communist insurgency era between June 17, 1968 and December 2, 1989 in Semenanjung and in Sabah and Sarawak in 1962 to October 17, 1990. Moving on to Malaysia news. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Najib Tun Razak said Malaysia should always emulate the spirit of hijrah as the basis of national transformation and development in a multiracial society. He said this was in line with Malaysia's position as a progressive Islamic country. Datuk Seri Najib stressed that the principles of acceptance, nationhood and social justice should be the foundation of the society and harmony for Malaysians. He said that guided by the spirit of hijrah, he had tabled Budget 2015 with the theme The People's Economy to continue strengthening the national economy, empowering transformation and prioritising the people's needs. Datuk Sri Najib said the year 1436 Hijrah reminded Muslims of the fixing of the Islamic calendar, which was an innovation in administration by Sayyidina Umar al-Khattab during the reign of the Islamic Caliphate. Hijrah refers to the migration of Prophet Muhammad and his friends from Mecca to Medina. As Muslims usher in the Islamic New Year of 1436 Hijrah today, calls have emerged for the community to discard differences of opinion and forge greater unity. They have also been reminded to adhere strictly to the Quran and Sunnah in keeping with the decree of Prophet Muhammad. Two of the Muslim leaders who have been quoted as giving such advice are Ahmad Fazrin Yahya, Chief Executive Officer of the Association of Malaysian Muslim Intellectuals, and Muhammad Fazrin Muhammad Saleh, President of National Association of Muslim Students Malaysia. Ahmad Fazrin advised Muslims to adhere strictly to the Quran and Sunnah before the differences of opinion turned into a cancer against Muslim unity. He said the differences of opinion in religion arose when Muslims bank on logic without making the Quran and Sunnah as the basis for resolving problems. As such, he said the authorities responsible should proactively promote religious programs and hold comprehensive discussions on the confusion arising from differences of opinion so as to enhance the religious literacy of Muslims. Muslims should act more wisely when confronted with complex issues involving religious sensitivities and at the same time resolve them without conflict. Indonesia had not confirmed that debris found in its waters is that of the missing Malaysia Airlines flight MH370, said Transport Ministry Deputy Secretary General Datuk Rohaiza Mohamed Rashid after attending a briefing for the media on the current status of the search for flight MH370 yesterday. The briefing was given by Joint Agency Coordination Centre Chief Coordinator Judith Zilke and Australian Transport Safety Bureau spokesman Peter Foley. Datuk Rohaiza said that for the identification process, if any debris believed to be from the plane was found, it would be brought to Australia to be photographed and sent to Boeing for verification. She said it was hoped that the search, which was now more focused, would come up with some success. Flight MH370 dropped off a radar on March 8 as it flew from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing with 227 passengers and 12 crew on board. The Boeing 777 aircraft has yet to be found even after an exhaustive search in the southern Indian Ocean, where it is believed to have gone down after veering off course. The search continues with the focus now on an area in the southern Indian Ocean where it is believed the aircraft may be. Malaysia's unemployment rate in August 2014 declined marginally to 2.7% from 2.8% in the previous month, the Statistics Department said in a statement on the Labour Force Statistics Malaysia yesterday. It said the year-on-year comparison showed a lower unemployment rate of 0.4 percentage point at 3.1% in August 2013. The labour force participation rate declined to 67.1% in August as compared to 67.4% in the previous month. The department explained that the drop of 0.4 percentage point is a continuation of the decrease of population in the labour market by 0.4%, particularly those from the younger age group of 15 to 19 years. Let's take a look on the global front. A doctor who recently returned to New York from treating Ebola patients in Guinea tested positive on Thursday for the deadly virus, the first confirmed case in the city, officials said. The 33-year-old, identified by U.S. media as Craig Spencer, has been placed in isolation in what is the fourth case of Ebola diagnosed in the United States and the first outside Texas. The patient arrived back in America's largest city at JFK Airport on October 17th, traveling via Europe after working with Ebola patients in West Africa for the charity Doctors Without Borders. According to Spencer's CV on LinkedIn, he has been a Fellow of International Emergency Medicine at Columbia University New York Presbyterian Hospital for more than 3 years. Officials said he monitored his temperature twice a day and attempted to self-isolate, only displaying symptoms on Thursday, a day after taking 2 subway trains to Brooklyn to go bowling. New York City Health Department detectives have been tracing his movements, and officials stressed there was no cause for alarm in a dense city of 8.4 million residents. His fiancée and 2 friends with whom he has been in close contact are healthy and being quarantined, New York City Health Commissioner Mary Bassett told the news conference. One of them was at the Bellevue on Thursday, officials said. Bassett stressed that none of them are displaying any symptoms and said there was no need to test them for Ebola. Australian surgeons said yesterday they have used hearts which has stopped beating in successful transplants in what they said was a world first that could change the way organs are donated. Until now, doctors have relied on using the still beating hearts of donors who have been declared brain dead after placing the recovered organs on ice and rushing them to their recipients. But Sydney's St. Vincent's Hospital and the Victor Chang Cardiac Research Institute have developed a technique which means hearts which had been still for 20 minutes can be resuscitated, kept beating and transplanted into a patient. So far, 3 people have received hearts in this way, with 2 recovering well and the third and most recent recipient still requiring intensive care. The technique involves donor hearts being transferred to a portable machine known as a heart in a box, in which they were placed in preservation solution, resuscitated and kept warm. All 3 patients have received hearts which came from different hospitals, with the organs kept beating during transport times of between 5 and 8 hours. Peter McDonald, Medical Director of the St. Vincent's Heart Transplant Unit, said it was unlikely that the first heart transplants ever performed in the 1960s used organs that had stopped beating. 3 more had since been done with children. 21 Asian nations have signed on to a China-driven initiative to create a new development bank for Asia that's aimed at boosting infrastructure investment of all kinds. Beijing sees that as a way to raise its international standing, but Washington opposes the move as an unnecessary and potentially damaging rival to established institutions such as the World Bank. Members are overwhelmingly developing nations, with Singapore the only advanced economy. The others range from economic powerhouses India and China to smaller but economically dynamic nations such as Singapore, Vietnam, the Philippines and Mongolia. A few are drawn from among the poorest nations, including Laos, Cambodia and Oman. Others taking part are Uzbekistan, Thailand, Sri Lanka, Qatar, Pakistan, Nepal, Bangladesh, Brunei, Kazakhstan, Kuwait, Malaysia and Myanmar. China says it's willing to pony up just about all of the $50 billion to capitalize the bank, while other institutions and private lenders are expected to provide another $15 billion. That $100 billion is still relatively small compared with existing institutions. The World Bank's capital is about $220 billion, while the Asian Development Bank has a $175 billion capital. However, China appears inclined to streamline the lending process, meaning countries may not have to wait as long or jump through as many hoops to get their money. That could stimulate borrowing all around if it ends up competing with existing institutions for business. The bank is in large part China's reaction to being constantly relegated to second-class status at existing institutions. China is also backing another alternative institution, the New Development Bank, sponsored by the so-called BRICS countries that also include Russia, India, Brazil, and South Africa. The idea is that if the US and other major powers won't make room for China at the table, then Beijing will make its own. China also hopes that bank will improve its global stature and end what it's viewed as the West's bullying and discrimination in the political and economic spheres. And that wraps up our news for today. Thank you for watching tvsarawak.com. I'm Atika Zainal. Wishing you Salam Al-Hijrah and have a great weekend.